But you see how much kidnappers are taking from victims.
My thing is, government will obviously organize this. Get that, and I think you get that. The 3% for the oil producing community is too low.
So the support that is needed. And once you get the support, your energy will blossom.
This is Nigeria. You need to give people sense of belonging.
Good morning, viewers. Welcome to the Thursday edition of Inside Nigeria here at the Leadership Television. Today is April 28, 2022. My name is Bode Gbadebo. As usual, I shall be showing you from pages of some national dailies and as well have a discussion about the trending issue of the day. And of course, we're starting with Nigeria's most influential newspaper, The Leadership. On the front page of Leadership this morning, presidential screening. NDLEA wants drug test for Shimbajo, Tinubu, Amechi, other aspirants. Presidential screening. NDLEA wants drug test for Shimbajo, Tinubu, Amechi, other aspirants. Right APC leadership says PDP aspirants orders to follow. Yahaya Bello, Wajuba pick 100 million naira nomination forms. Amosun to declare next week. And of course, the last writer to this story says Amechi meets Southeast delegates in Owerri, the Imo State capital. We shall be coming back to this story for an in-depth discussion with people who understand the issues very well. But before that, let me quickly show you other from pages. Let's look at the front page of our sister publication, The National Economy. On the front page of National Economy this morning, Nigeria achieves 3.3 trillion naira capital retention in oil sector. Nigeria achieves 3.3 trillion naira capital retention in oil sector as local content grows to 42%. That is a heartwarming story, and of course, coming from our sister publication, The National Economy. Let's go to the third newspaper on our menu this morning, which is the THISDAY newspaper. On the front page of THISDAY this morning, Tinubu joined political business leaders in Saudi Arabia for prayers and networking. Tinubu joins political business leaders in Saudi Arabia for prayers and networking. Atiku, Dangote, Rabiu, others meet, strategize for 2023 general election. And of course, the last paper on our menu this morning, the Nation newspaper, has also politics on the front page. 2023 battle for tickets pits governors against senators. 2023 battle for tickets pits governors against senator. Tension in states over slots. Parties moderate struggle for position. Parties moderate struggle for position. That's all on the front page of the Nation newspaper this morning. Now let's go back to the lead story on Nigeria's most influential newspaper, The Leadership, which is the cross of the discussion for today. Presidential screening. NDLEA wants drug test for Shimbajo, Tinubu, Amechi, other aspirants. Right APC leadership says PDP aspirants orders to follow. And of course, since this story broke yesterday, many people have been asking many questions. And of course, to provide more in-depth analysis on this and provide more insight is the NDLEA spokesperson, Mr. Femi Babafemi, who is joining me remotely from Abuja. Good morning, sir. Thank you for taking time to join us this morning.
Thank you, Bode, for having me on your show this morning.
All right, I don't know if you are hearing me, Mr. Babafemi.
I'm hearing you loud and clear.
All right, I can't hear you. I don't know why. So you need to give me a few seconds to fix that. Then I'll come back to you in 2 seconds.
Not a problem.
I'll go on a short break. When I come back, I shall be speaking with Mr. Femi Babafemi, spokesperson, the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA. Don't go away.
sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.
Inside Nigeria, keeping you informed on what matters.
Yeah, welcome back. And of course, it's still Inside Nigeria for this Thursday morning. Like I said earlier, we're being joined by Mr. Femi Babafemi, spokesperson of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA. Good morning, sir, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Bode. Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. So for want of time, and I think we are also being joined by Barrister Ayo Adebusoye, a senior attorney and a leading development expert joining us from Lagos. Good morning, Mr. Adebusoye. Now we'll start with you, Mr. Babafemi. This story about your agency writing political parties to actually incorporate a drug integrity test for aspirants gunning for position in the 2023 general election. So let me first ask this question. What type of law, or what law are you relying on to embark on this journey?
I'm sure if you read our statement, which was adequately reported by the leadership newspaper, you will understand the fact that it's an advocacy initiative. Which is part of our whole society approach towards addressing or cutting down on the problem of drug scourge in the country. Now, when you are asking about a law backing our move, I will tell you categorically that there is no law per se. That is why we call it an advocacy initiative. Today, you agree with me that all over the country and even beyond Nigeria, people go for HIV tests, go for genotype tests when they want to do marriage, when two people want to marry. And I'm sure you're also aware that there is no law making that compulsory, but it's just individual thing to address some future or to prevent some future problems that may arise in their marriage. The same thing we're advocating in this case. You also know that this drug integrity test, quite a number of schools are already doing it as part of their institutional policy to address the problem of drug abuse in the society, especially on campuses. And I can also tell you that there is no such law in the country making that mandatory. The same thing applies to this one, asking for political office seekers. And I tell you that this is not it's an effort we have started, that the chairman of the agency started as far back as last year, calling on governors wherever we went then to embrace the initiative, so that to address some of the problems that may arise in political offices. And I'll cite Kano as an example of a state government that had already taken that step. Today in Kano State, you can become local government chairman, councillor, or member of the State House of Assembly, or member of the National Assembly without undergoing drug test in Kano. There is no such law backing it. It's just an individual thing to help the society, and that's exactly what the agency is pushing to extend to the national. There are quite a number of government agencies today that are partnering with the NDLA to conduct drug tests on their staff, and the agency started, like they say, charity begins at home. The agency itself started that on its own staff. There is nobody that will work in the NDLA today that will not undergo drug test. Even for those that have been working in the agency, I can tell you, some months ago, the chairman ordered drug test on everybody at the national headquarters here in Abuja. So it's something we are doing. We are not preaching what we are not doing. So it's something we are doing, and quite a number of government agencies are working with the NDLA to do this, including the security services. So we're doing it. So that's why we also believe that those who will lead us in the political space also need to undergo this, so that we're sure that we're having the right people in right positions.
Quite a thoughtful advocacy there, Mr. Obafemi. I want to agree with you. Now, let me ask you that what will happen next if these political parties actually turn your agency down? What will happen?
Well, that is why it's an advocacy thing, and we don't believe that any political party will turn down the request, because it's in their interest, it's in the interest of their political party, it's in the interest of the individual aspirants, because again, you see, this whole thing is about, it's not about rejecting the individuals. For instance, if drug test is conducted on any aspirant, the moment that test comes out positive, what it means is there is need for help for that person immediately. You don't wait till that person becomes runs mad on the street or is knocked down by one ailment or the other. So what it's needed to be done at that point is to seek for help for that person, because the drug problem, the drug addiction or drug use disorder is an ailment like any other ailment. It's something that ought to be treated like you treat your malaria, like you treat high blood pressure, like you treat all other ailments. So that's why we're trying to, these things are done with the way we do it. I'm sure Nigerians are not aware of some of the agencies where we take this advocacy or that have bought into this idea and that we're doing it for them. It's not to stigmatize anybody, no. It's to actually see those that are already suffering from this ailment and get them help urgently, so that we don't have to wait till we have people knocked down through some, as a result of complications from drug abuse. We have quite a lot of people that are suffering from a lot of complicated health issues today as a result of drug abuse. So we need to address these things early before it takes its toll on the nation's public health.
Okay, Mr. Obafemi, now let me also ask that the outcome of this drug integrity test, will it be in the public domain at the end of the exercise?
That's what I'm saying. It's not meant to stigmatize anybody. So
exactly.
It's not, it's not something, it's just like you go to your you go to the hospital you seek for help. I mean, you go for treatment. I mean, test before treatment. The doctors will not come out to come and publish the results of your test. Just like I told you that we've been conducting this for a number of agencies of government and even security agencies, and we are not making that public. We're doing it in the interest of the individual, in the interest of the organization, and the overall interest of the country. So that is not, nobody goes to the hospital and gets tested for some ailment, and the result of that test is published. The same thing, the same rule, medical rule applies to this one.
All right. Finally, on that issue, like I said earlier, this is quite a thoughtful advocacy. Now, what steps are you taking that you can take the advocacy a further step by maybe getting the legislation to back it up and make it compulsory in future exercise?
Absolutely, it's expected that it's something that the members of the National Assembly should consider. It's something that is worth it, because at the moment today, if in the country today, I think those that had been affected, even HIV/AIDS, those affected by HIV/AIDS in Nigeria today, so far today, the statistics shows less than 2 million persons. And those affected by even the global pandemic of COVID-19, those affected in Nigeria today are less than 500,000. And here we have an issue, a problem that affects almost 11 million persons. As at 2018, it could be more by now. So if we have this kind of a problem, then everything should be done to address it. And that's why today President Muhammadu Buhari has taken the bull by the horn by reinvigorating the leadership of the agency, and as a result, strengthening the nation's war against drug abuse and illicit drug trafficking. And you can see that a whole lot of difference has been in place since January 2021. You can see all the results coming in. You can see a whole lot of activities, actions, and results coming out from what the agency has been doing. And along with other stakeholders, it's not a battle the agency can fight alone. We're doing that with a lot of our national and international stakeholders.
All right. Will you also consider an option to approach other social institutions with this kind of advocacy? I mean, religious organizations, educational centers, other social institutions, and advise them to do this?
I'll tell you, Bode, that probably the political parties are the last set of even institutions we are approaching. All of these stakeholders you have mentioned, we have been to them. We have been to the Christian Association of Nigeria in every state we go to push for this advocacy. We have been to the Council of Ulamas. We have been to the leadership of the various faith-based organizations in all the states, including the state governments, the local governments, everybody. And that's why I also told you earlier that in Nigeria today we have quite a number of government institutions that had bought into this idea, and we're working well with them on this. So the same thing, we are not limiting the reach or the program to specific number of people. We are taking it across as much as possible to get its wider reach, so that the more the better, and that's we have a safer country.
All right, Mr. Abafemi, I'm almost winding down. Let's talk about your other areas of operation. Since Brigadier General Mohammed Bubamawa retired, assumed the leadership of the NDLEA, your agency is in the news almost every day for the good reasons, I must tell you. Now,
Thank
a lot
you.
of recoveries, arrests, and the rest of them to make sure that this country is rid of illicit drug. Now, let me ask you, how transparent is your agency with administration of recoveries or proceeds of crimes? How transparent?
Yeah, when it comes to drug seizures, I'll tell you that there are quite a lot of mechanisms put in place to ensure that drug exhibits are not tampered with. One of such measures, I'll tell you, is a monitoring task force that was set up last year by the chairman of the agency to go around and ensure, for frequent auditing of drug exhibits across the country. That is one step. Two, another pragmatic step taken by the leadership of the agency is to ensure that at least 2-3 persons have access or have different padlocks to the drug exhibit rooms, meaning that not a single individual can access the exhibit rooms. You have to have the 3 persons have to, who have keys to different padlocks used to lock the exhibit rooms must agree to be able to access the place. That is one another way to secure the exhibits. Another thing is beyond the exhibits, you also talk of funds recovered, which are proceeds of drug criminal business. This, I can tell you, does not come to the account of the agency. It goes to a dedicated account in the office of the Accountant General of the Federation. It's not managed by the NDLA at all. It's managed by a different government office.
That's a good one there. Now, the issue of suspended Deputy Commissioner of Police, Abba Kyari, if you recall very well, when you actually declared him wanted, the police also reacted by saying, well, we are aware of this case and we are turning Abba Kyari in, but also NDLA has also been a searchlight on its own operatives. So are you exposing the police? How much of your people, how many of your people have you also sanctioned?
If I tell you the truth, if anybody in NDLA is involved, that person by now will be facing prosecution. That is the honest truth. If anybody in NDLA is involved, that person today will be facing prosecution. Don't forget that there were attempts by some elements involved in that particular incident to try and rope the agency in with the hope of blackmailing the agency to back out of the thing, but that didn't work. That's the honest truth. If there is anybody, even from the statements from the suspects themselves, the matter is already in court now. We may not be able to discuss the details, but from the statements from the suspects themselves, they admitted relating directly with the cartel, from the Brazil-based cartel. So it has nothing to do with the agency. If anybody in the agency is involved, I can tell you that person by now will be facing trial along with them.
All right, I must thank you very much, Mr. Femi Babafemi, spokesperson, National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, for joining us this morning. And we hope to see more of you.
Thank you for having me. Thank you
very much.
Sir.
That was Mr. Femi Babafemi, spokesperson, National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLA. And on that note, we've come to the end of today's edition of Inside Nigeria. My name is Remain Body Badibo. Making it with us tomorrow for the Friday edition of the show. For now, it's bye from here.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.